Hello and good evening to you. Welcome to News 360. It's live from our news hub here at this hour in Kanda. My name is Alfredo.
And mine is Asiedu-Dartey. Let's look at our top stories this hour.
Headlines is brought to you by
Government revises downwards total revenue and expenditure targets for 2017.
Also coming up, Ministerial Task Force on Galamsey warns small-scale miners against disregard for the ban on illegal mining.
On the bulletin, LPG Tanker Drivers Union kicks against cylinder recirculation module.
In the health sector, Health Ministry requests 2 months to secure financial clearance for unposted graduates from private nurses training institutions.
On the international front, acting head of Kenya's computerized voting system found dead in Nairobi days before the August 8 elections.
Details of all these stories, including sports and entertainment, coming up in the next 1 hour. You can also join us on our various social media platforms. Send in your comments and views when we will read them out for you. To our very first story now, and government has revised downwards total revenue and expenditure targets for 2017 in the mid-year review of the budget statement and economic policy. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, speaking on the floor of Parliament, said total revenue and grants targets for the year has been reduced by 1.4 billion cedis, while total expenditure has also been reduced by $2.2 billion.
Government has maintained the overall GDP growth rate for 2017 at 6.3%. End-of-year inflation rate has also been maintained at 11.2%. Overall fiscal deficit target has been revised downwards from 6.5% of GDP to 6.3% of GDP. Total revenue and grants have been revised downwards by 0.9% of GDP, from 44.5 billion cedis to 43.1 billion cedis. Total expenditure has also been revised downwards by 11.1% of GDP, from 58.1 billion cedis to 55.9 billion cedis.
Developments from January up to June 2017 indicate that the President's policies and programs are yielding the expected results, and in some cases exceeding expectations. The GDP for the first quarter of 2017 grew by 6.6% against 4.4% for the same period in 2016. Inflation reduced to 12.1% at the end of June 2017 from 15.4% at end December 2016. The 91-day Treasury bill rates have reduced from 16.4% at end 2016 to 12.08% at end June 2017.
Government says its focus for the first half year was to stabilize the economy and re-establish the principles of good economic governance. According to Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, the foundation has been laid for the successful implementation of the flagship programs of government, including free senior high school education, expected to commence in the second half of the year.
Progressively, confidence is being restored in the economy, and we are confident that this positive trend will be sustained in the months and years ahead. Achieving macroeconomic stability is not an end in itself. What it has done, however, is to provide the country, especially the private sector, with a platform to grow the economy, create jobs, and improve incomes for workers.
Well, the minority in Parliament is saying that these gains announced by the Finance Minister are cosmetic and some of the expenditure are deferred, and indeed they're going to be exposed big time by the end of the year.
It's always been the case, you know.
Absolutely.
So last time it was the NDC, the NPP said the same thing. Now it's the NPP, the NDC.
Precisely, and they keep going back and forth. Whether this is the Assembly budget review or not is something that, a matter of time, we'll get to know. But clearly, a lot of economic analysis has been going on since the Finance Minister presented the media budget review. But that's what you see on the screen. Just a brief highlights of what he put out there earlier today. Total revenue and grant amounted to 17.5 billion. That's 8.6% of the GDP, against a target of 20.5 billion. And that is where one of the concerns is. Revenue mobilization, there was a shortfall there of almost about 3 billion from what was announced. So total expenditure, including payments for the clearance of arrears, amounted to 23 billion. That's about 11.3% of GDP against a target of about 27.6 billion. What this means is that there's actually some savings that government has made in the total expenditure, including payment of clearance of arrears. And indeed, that was one of the issues that was raised, I mean, to the extent that government has compressed some expenditure. But what you see here is about 4.6 billion savings that government has made compared to what it actually projected that it was going to spend, as against what has actually been spent. That notwithstanding, already there have also been questions raised about a certain level of public borrowing and debt accumulation. What you see here now is wages and salaries amounting to 6.8 billion. That's 3.4% of GDP against a target of 6.9 billion. This side as well, there's been some 100 million savings that government has made with respect to the payments of wages and salaries. Goods and services amounted to about 854.6 million. That's 0.4% of GDP against the target of about 1.4 billion. Also, there's been some savings also made there. So clearly, the figures does point to something positive to look out for, and that's what the interest payments amounted to 6.7 billion against a target of 7.1 billion as well. There's also that savings there. The gross public debt stock stood at provisional figure of 138.5 billion as at the end of June 2017. And some have raised concerns, but indeed the stock of debt is the actual nominal quantum which we're going to see by the end of the year. We can better appreciate the quantum of debt indeed by the end of the year, and that's what clearly some analysts have also questioned, you know, with this. So that's something
I think that we're going to be talking about this over the week, and so
absolutely
all the issues will come up. But in the meantime, let's look at what listen to what the MPs have been saying, and members of Parliament express their views on the mid-year budget statement by the Minister of Finance. This is what they said.
That the approach that was used today, the medium, is an abuse of process. We did not expect that the finance minister will come under Order 70. This is the first time this is happening in Parliament. Media reviews have always come through motions, which allows for proper scrutiny, allows for full debate. This is an attempt to stifle debate and to gag us.
It's good news for Ghana today, and everybody should be happy about the finance minister's performance so far. And of course, it's not just only him, it's all the ministers and the government as well. This is the difference, a clear difference between us and them, you know, MPP and NDC. You are talking about people who are competent, they know what they are doing, and people who have integrity, and they are beginning to drive the economic and all the macro indicators from inflation, interest rate, everything is on the right direction.
I'm disappointed in the first place because what we saw on the floor of the House today hasn't happened in Parliament before, because normally such a sensitive document, such a sensitive policy usually will have to come under emotion, and then it will open up for debate so that we'll debate it thoroughly. I do not know what the government was running away from, because they came under a statement, and you know a statement will restrict members of Parliament in their debates.
The minister did not come for approval to be able to revise anything upwards, which will require approval. But what is submitted shows that we are either within targets or we are even revising the targets in a positive way downstairs. So it's a very good thing, and we should encourage it. Of course, he's going by the law. The Act enjoys him to do that, and that's exactly what he has done.
The young men and women in my constituency who were promised jobs in 100 days by this government. We heard Dr. Baumia during his 103 promises claim that they had created those jobs. I expected to hear the finance minister tell us how many jobs they have created. They couldn't tell us or put out any figures. The young men and women in my constituency are still looking for jobs.
I mean, bringing debt down is very difficult. Your challenge is whether to strengthen your growth so that your GDP increases. That then really helps with the issue of debt sustainability, and that is what we are trying to do. Certainly, we will work in ways in which we can defer as much of the interest payments as possible, so you get a fiscal space to bring growth into the economy. But in terms of the quantum elimination of debt, it's just very difficult unless there's debt forgiveness, which is not what is happening in this world. So the issues of reprofiling, making sure there's growth so that the GDP grows, so that you have a sustainable economy.
The Ministerial Task Force on Galamsey has warned small-scale miners who have dared government on the clampdown on their operations not to impede the efforts of the Joint Military Police Task Force. 400 security personnel have been deployed to mining areas in the Ashanti, Western and Eastern regions to enforce the ban on illegal mining.
A stepped-up approach in the fight against illegal mining operations. Fired up and heavily armed, these 400 officers and men are putting their lives on the line to enforce the ban on the menace. The Joint Police Military National Anti-Galamsey Task Force, constituting the first batch, would initially focus its attention on the 3 regions and extend its operations to others if it becomes necessary.
A group calling itself members of the Ashanti Regional Small-Scale Miners Association, at a press conference held in Kumasi, has threatened to fight military personnel who will be deployed by government to stop its members from going to their various mining sites. My advice to any aggrieved association or groups of people is that they should not attempt to stampede, obstruct, or use any unlawful means to prevent this task force from exercising its mandate.
A window of opportunity given by the Lands and Natural Resources Minister John Peter Amewu earlier this year for illegal miners to vacate their site has elapsed, with some complying.
One guiding principle will be the man-on-the-spot command doctrine. We expect all ranks to use their initiative and professional judgment correctly. I have no reason to doubt the success of this venture. Failure is not an option. We shall put an end to all forms of illegal mining activity.
A concerted approach these men in uniform have pledged from their chants. The Inspector General of Police, David Asante Pietro, is resolute the team will win.
Our duty is to ensure the laws that preserve the sanctity of our environment are respected and adhered to.
What in terms of land space is the target for this 400 men going to only 3 regions as of now?
328,000 kilometers square, averagely has been degraded. I mean, that is very huge enough. The water bodies, almost all our rivers in Western, Brona-Hafo, Eastern and Ashanti region have been polluted. So this tells you the significance of the issue. The area degraded it so much, and that is why processes are currently ongoing for the reclamation exercise.
The express instruction is that you should be fearless and committed to the fight. This 400 men are moving into 3 regions, the Ashanti region, the Eastern region and the Western region, to fight the Galamsey menace. Make sure you interact with the community as well, be humane to them, but don't forget the task ahead is to safeguard our water bodies and the land space degraded by Galamsey activities. Komla Kluche, TV3 News, Bema Kampakra.
Rightly so, Komla. Well, now let's move to the health sector, where the Ministry of Health has requested 2 months to secure financial clearance for unposted graduates from private nursing training institutions. The aggrieved nurses picketed at the Ministry of Health, lamenting over what they describe as discrimination against them by prioritizing the recruitment of their colleagues trained in the public nursing training schools.
The nurses, numbering more than 50, picketed at the ministry to demand their financial clearance. They claimed no efforts have been made to recruit and post them over the past 7 years. According to them, they have convened numerous meetings with the sector ministry, but to no avail. They insisted they would not leave until they secure postings. Emmanuel Nano and Doreen Boateng are the leaders of the disgruntled nurses.
Had an encounter where the postings have come and there is even a single private nurse being part of the people that have been posted to go to the various hospitals to go and work.
33 and 34. It is written that when you go to any of these accredited institutions, after you've passed your licensure exam, government will post you. And until for 7 years down the line, we've not had any posting.
They accused the sector minister of poor human relations during their meeting with him.
He told us, what right do we have? So you are asking, are we not Ghanaians? What right do we have? And are they even obliged to post us?
But the public relations officer of the ministry, Robert Kujo, dismissed the accusations.
When they met the minister, it was like a war. I was there. Nothing of the sort, not a semblance of what they are saying happened.
He pleaded with them to exercise restraint until the financial clearance is secured.
We only are appealing to them to exercise patience. Just it's the system. The minister assured them that he talked to his colleague minister of finance and I believe something could be done about the system.
Until something is done, that's what is happening. It's as if they're all going by the language of picketing, sleep there for 3-4 days. You know, eventually your story will be heard. But away from that, the Liquefied Petroleum Gas Tanker Drivers Union has kicked against the implementation of the cylinder recirculation module expected to be rolled out by the National Petroleum Authority, NPA. The union is alleging the module is a deliberate attempt by the NPA to collapse their businesses.
The plan to implement the cylinder recirculation model commenced last year but was shelved. Government's goal, championed by the National Petroleum Authority, was to centralize the dispensing of gas for domestic use. But all the value chain in the LPG business, comprising the Marketing Companies Association of Ghana, the Ghana LPG Operators Association, the LPG Tanker Drivers Union and the Tanker Owners Association have fought it for a year. Last week, the NPA reportedly gave a hint of granting the contract to a private BDC company in Tema, and this has prompted a protest from the Tanker Drivers Union.
LPG plants that have been in existence for years are being asked to quit the scene in favor of a foreign company, Puma Energy. That is why we smell a rat in the whole scheme of things.
The drivers and other associations have argued if the model is implemented, it will collapse the dispensing refueling stations, with 65,000 people losing their jobs.
Let Puma comes in as a BDC, Brent is plant. Now we have in Accra here, Puma will be the third company, BDCs. So when you bring out your price, we value it. We know, you see, we assess it. So we are begging the government that person should be a BDC. It should not come and take us out. Because we have suffered since 1990 up to now.
Ghanaians got hooked onto the LPG consumption in 1980s after government discouraged the use of wood fuel in an effort to stop the wanton destruction of the country's vegetative cover and protect the environment. Consumption levels has shot up from 5,267 in 1989 to 32,000 in 1996. It also went up to 200,000 tonnes in 2011 and 300,000 tonnes as of last year. Currently, there are about 700 dispensing refueling stations employing more than 65,000 workers across the country. About 250 tankers are also operating in the sector, each with a market value of 400,000 tonnes.
In other news, the University Teachers Association of Ghana has threatened to lay down its tools if government fails to resolve the ongoing impasse at the University of Education, Winneba. UTAG expressed regrets at the slow pace at resolving the issue.
The Governing Council of the University has failed to seek out of court settlement on the ongoing impasse. Lecturers on campus have also declined to engage in any serious academic work for distant students. Last week, leadership of UTAG urged government to be swift in resolving the concerns. UTAG has served notice of suspension of academic work.
All universities in Ghana may decide to lay down their tools until this issue is resolved. I can assure you that we are in very difficult times for university education in Ghana.
The national president expressed concern at the slow pace at resolving the issue.
It's the duty of the chairman. But that chairman refused with the excuse that the minister in charge of tertiary education had instructed him not to do that, and it's a lie. And that meeting ended in chaos. The second meeting they had also ended in chaos. Disagreement. He has come there, I don't know, for whatever reason, to champion the desires of his masters.
Meanwhile, UTAG has again called on government to pay its book and research allowance.
If government is really committed to paying this money and paying it on time, then the correction of those errors should not take more than a day or two, because those who presented those documents are available to be contacted and asked and probably prevailed upon to effect the corrections and payment made.
All right, still to come tonight. Acting head of Kenya's computerized voting system found dead in Nairobi days before the August 8 elections.
It's our first business story, and the Minister of Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, has announced a marginal review of government's fiscal deficit targets from 6.5% of GDP to 6.3%. Presenting the mid-year budget review in Parliament, the Minister said the revision is consistent with government's resolve to grow the economy and create jobs.
Government has in the past spent more than is budgeted by Parliament, and this has often led to deficits and put financial burden on the economy. Presenting the budget review in Parliament, the Minister of Finance said government has reviewed this fiscal deficit target from 6.5% of GDP to 6.3%.
These revisions are consistent with our fiscal and debt sustainability objectives. Mr. Speaker, be mindful of the high debt burden which has arisen largely because of high fiscal deficit in the past. The revision of the fiscal deficit further demonstrates our commitment to fiscal discipline.
He, however, indicated the government has maintained some key macroeconomic indicators such as the growth rate and inflation.
Mr. Speaker, going forward, we will strengthen the implementation of revenue measures to ensure that we meet our revised revenue targets. To ensure that the fiscal objectives and targets are not compromised, we will make the necessary downward adjustment to discretionary expenditure in the event that we are not able to meet our revenue targets.
To the banking sector, the Universal Merchant Bank is to deploy technology-based solutions to drive financial inclusions and grow the bank for it to be among the top largest financial institutions in the country before its 50th anniversary. The CEO of the bank, John Ewa, said the bank has already employed cutting-edge technology to support its product and service offerings.
UMB is a full-service financial institution specializing in customized banking products and services. The bank opened its doors to the public on March 15, 1972 and is currently a leading Ghanaian indigenous bank with considerable financial expertise. The bank is recognized for its entrepreneurial approach, innovative use of technology, and distinctive banking solutions. As it marks its 45th anniversary, the bank has set out an ambitious target to become the biggest bank in Ghana by 2020.
The building blocks started in 2014. We are very much well advanced in all the things that we set out to do, and I can confirm that we are very well on track. As you can see from our financial performance from last year and even for the half year of 2017, you've seen that there's been a significant improvement in the way we do our business. Our focus is not profitability. Our focus is building a bank that is built to last, a bank that will, set the pace for the development of the banking sector in the countries.
The CEO, Johnny Ewa, said the bank will deepen its presence in the sector through the provision of competitive products and services to attract majority of the banking population.
We are working on our people, making sure that they are fit for purpose. The people who interact with you have the knowledge and the know-how to be able to address your needs. We have worked on our systems, our technology, and everything that we do, even our processes. We've simplified them and just to make sure that when our customers are interacting with us, they are interacting in the shortest possible manner.
The Universal Merchant Bank currently has 31 branches, 2 UMB Center for Businesses, 1 public-private partnership, incubator center, and vast network of automated teller machines.
The MTN Ghana has constructed a school building for Street Academy as part of its 21 days of Yellow Care project in Accra. The annual Star Volunteer program is aimed at investing in education for pupils within and outside Accra.
For 10 years, MTN has created tremendous change in the lives of communities, particularly on education, through the 21 days of Yellow Care. MTN staff carried out classroom renovations, literacy project, information communication technology training, and provision of digital educational content to some schools across the country. This year's campaign started with renovating classrooms, provision of ICT trainings, and donation of educational content to Street Academy in Accra.
We empowered teachers in special schools by creating a resource center with teaching aids. This edition of 21 Days of Yellow Care has allowed MTN Ghana staff to impact over 6,000 pupils in about 30 schools across Ghana.
Over 5,000 books were presented to some basic schools across the country. MTN staff also took the mantle to empower over 6,000 pupils across the country. Corporate Services Executive at MTN, Cynthia Lumo, is confident the new building will give pupils a sound environment to study.
Today's dedication is for this structure that we've built for the Street Academy, which we think is a wonderful project led by Mr. Asiedu-Dartey, basically giving back to underprivileged children in this community, who perhaps, if the Street Academy went here, would not pursue, education.
Director of Street Academy, Asiedu-Dartey, lauded MTN for the kind gesture.
Thank MTN for giving us these facilities that can support a lot of children over in the community. There's a lot of children there. It's not their fault to be there. Maybe they have wrong parents.
Well, let's now look at matters of partnerships, and Erata Motors has entered into partnership with Unibank to enable customers acquire their dream cars. The ride with Erata Motors and Unibank is applicable to salaried account holders of the bank.
Since 2012, Irata Motors has been a leading car dealer in the country, giving customers unmatched services in brand new and slightly used cars from USA, Dubai and Korea.
If you think you need car and you want to qualify for a Unibank promo loan, quickly go and open an account with them. And when you open an account, your salary passes there for 3 months. They will pay the car and you come and pick your car.
As part of efforts to help clients get their own car, Unibank and Irata Motors have entered into a partnership to enable customers of the bank own cars. The ride with Irata Motors and Unibank deal can be accessed by salaried account holders of Unibank who earn at least 2,000 cedis monthly.
As an indigenous bank, we've grown over the years, and so it's just prudent that we tag along with local companies to also help them grow. Their vehicles are clean cars, and so as a customer, if you should purchase anything from Irata, you are sure that the next 3 to 4 or 5 years, you're going to have good value for money.
The Chief Executive Officer of Irata Motors, Eddie Kusi Ankuma, bemoaned the increasing duty rates at the country's ports, which he says is taking a toll on their business. He cautioned the public Irata Motors does not sell any of their cars online as being advertised on social media.
A lot of people put cars on the net, social media, and try to sell them to clients. If you need a car, we have our website. You go to iratamotors.com.
He entreated potential customers to visit Irata Motors on the Lagos Avenue, East Legon in Accra, or on their website on www.iratamotors.com for more exciting offers.
And that's it for business. Thanks for watching. There's more on 3news.com right now, though. Alfred, you have more.
Absolutely, I see. So there's just some news coming in from the Bank of Ghana. So I'll just read the press statement. First Deputy Governor retires. And the First Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Mr. Melesina, has retired. Mr. Na paid a courtesy call on President Akufo-Addo earlier this afternoon to announce his retirement from the bank. The president thanked Mr. Na for his years of dedicated service to the country and wished him well in retirement. And this is signed by Bernard Otabel, who's the Director of Communications at the Bank of Ghana. And this man has served the Bank of Ghana for a very, very long time now. But away from that, the minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, is saying that the minority will be responsible and will ensure it checks excesses in Parliament. The minority leader told members of the Council of State the minority will not succumb to attempts by the Speaker to stifle debate in parliamentary proceedings.
The minority leader made the complaint to the Council of State members when they called on the Speaker in his office. The leader's complaint came at the back of claims by the minority that the Speaker has been biased towards the minority in most of his rulings.
We know our responsibility, even out of courtesy. I will respect age and I will respect authority. But the right of the minority to have its say should not and would not and cannot be compromised at any given. I mean, we know that as a minority, we cannot have our way. There are happenings within the public service that we are not happy about persons who are dismissed just by a letter from the office of the executive or the president, undermining Article 195 and other. We are not happy about it. That's politicization of the public service of the country.
But the Speaker was not happy with the minority leader's claim.
It's most unfortunate. And we must train ourselves to be mindful of these things, which are part and parcel of public affairs, if I may so simply say. But just so that honorable members of the council will know, on that day, it is on record that the Speaker allowed 6 members of the majority to speak during that question time and 9 members of the minority. Please, you can check.
But Chairman of the Legal Committee of the Council, who led the delegation, Sam Okujeto, called for calm and urged both sides of the House to move away from party lines and focus on issues to develop the country. The minority leader hinted the group would at the appropriate time call on the Council to officially lodge their complaint.
Police and the CID headquarters in Accra on Monday took possession of a mobile phone of former Energy Minister Kwabena Donkor. The former Energy Minister was invited to a meeting with the authorities at the Criminal Investigations Department over the Ameri deal. His lawyer, Kwame Atieku, says his client will cooperate with investigations.
According to the lawyer for former Power Minister Kwame Atieku, the CID demanded his client's mobile phone. The former Power Minister Kwabena Donkor is under investigations over issues relating to the Ameri deal. This follows a raid on his house last Monday by some CID operatives who are probing the deal. The homes of former Deputy Minister of Power John Jinapor and former Deputy Attorney General and Minister of Justice Dr. Dominic Ayine were also raided. The minority has condemned the raid, describing it as contempt of Parliament. He also indicated the interrogation of his client is yet to begin since the police has not taken his statement.
The phone that they said they were not able to take at the time that they went to ransack the house, he has submitted the phone to the police today. So for now, that is where we are. If we have gone further than what I'm telling you, we'll let you know.
Former Deputy Ministers John Jinapor and Dominic Ayine are yet to take their turn at the police CID headquarters.
Still watching News 360. We'll be back shortly with some more stories. To stay.
Hi, good evening, and it's time to bring you all the latest in the world of sports with me, Thierry Nyan, right here on News 360. Now, some months ago, we brought you the tragic story of how drugs was consuming a former Black Stars player. Earlier today, Durabedoe Champon went to meet a more cheerful person battling the addiction.
It was a story that stunned the Ghanaian football community when TV3 Sports told the story of ex-Black Stars midfielder Abu Imoru and his battles with drugs. It provoked friends and family into action. Now the man who made headlines for winning games with Royal Tamale United and the Black Stars in the 80s hopes he's winning perhaps the most difficult game of his life, the battle against drugs.
Last month you came here. When you interviewed me, when I went home, people were saying that they saw me on telly, they saw me on telly. I said yes, that's TV3. They want to help me so that I will chill out from the drugs. Now things are going on well. I've quit. If I wake up, I'm in the house. I just want to come out from those things. Because the drugs, if you take it, it's something like you took something to harm yourself.
Imoru is keen to get back to his first love, football, and hopes one day he will be in the dugout.
Today that you have come, I don't know what to say. I will say thank you for your coming. I have the plans to be a coach. I have done the coaching course in Bulgaria. I have certificate C. Now I need A. I want to join this training, but I need boot. And the people said they will give me boot so that I will start with them.
One man who has been by him in twists and turns, a former teammate at Royal Tamale United, Abukari Damba, with gratitude says Imoru's breakthrough has come.
Visibly, you see Abu Moro today is not Abu Moro of yesterday, the last time you came here. He's a livelier person. He looks neater now than before because he's going through a therapy. And now he has realized and recognized the fact that he needs to work on himself. But I need to give a very big thank you to TV3 for the initiative and the opportunity. Feedback we have gotten has been splendid, has been excellent.
That was that touchy story on Abu Imoru. Anyway, so away from that, we go straight to Europe, where Cristiano Ronaldo has appeared in a Spanish court where he was facing allegations he evaded millions in tax. Prosecutors accused Ronaldo, reported to be the world's highest paid athlete, of evading 14.7 million euros in taxes. He had been expected to make a statement after the pre-trial hearing, but left without saying a word. If the case is sent to trial and he's found guilty, the Portuguese forward could face a fine of at least 28 million euros and a prison sentence of 3.5 years. His court case does continue, so we'll bring you subsequent developments of that particular one. But let's remain in European football, where Manchester United have completed a signing of Nemanja Matic from Chelsea for £40 million on a 3-year deal. The midfielder, who is 28 years old, becomes United's third summer buy after £31 million defender Victor Lindelof from Benfica and £75 million striker Romelu Lukaku from Everton. United manager Jose Mourinho described Matic as a team player who has everything we want in a footballer: loyalty, consistency and ambition. Matic said he was delighted to be joining at an exciting time and said he could not resist the opportunity to work with a Jose Mourinho managed team. All right, so now we go straight into the 2017 IAAF World Championships. And the update for today is that defending champion and 800-meter world record holder David Rashida has pulled out of next month's World Athletics Championships with a muscle strain. The 28-year-old Kenyan said on Twitter it was a sad and disappointing day to miss out on the event, which runs from 4 to 13 August in London. He won gold in London at the 2012 Olympics and defended it successfully in Rio last year. He is ranked only 19th in the world this year, but would have been bidding for a third successive gold medal at the World Athletics Championships. Fellow Kenyan Emmanuel Correa and Botswana's Nigel Amos are expected to battle for the gold in Rashida's absence. The Kenyan team is due to arrive in London tomorrow. Elsewhere, there is growing excitement around South Africa's Wade van Niekerk as he attempts to do a 200 and 400 meter double in London. Cape Town-born van Niekerk is reigning world champion as he broke Michael Johnson's 17-year-old world record to win the Olympic gold in Rio de Janeiro last year. And that's exactly how we bring an end to the sports bulletin right here on News 360. My name is Thierry Nyan, Alfredo Kante, and it's been a while standing by to bring you more. Don't go anywhere.
Oh, okay. So if you are a reggae music enthusiast or musician, here is some good news for you out there. The Accra Reggae Weekend is a concert to celebrate and take the reggae genre from its regular beach venue to mainstream venue has been launched by Musica. The platform will be used to expose unsung talents and create market for the genre.
Childhood days forever gone. Give thanks, but don't forget.
Reggae music has often been celebrated at its regular beach venues by enthusiasts. In Ghana, the Tawala Beach and Labadi beaches, as well as Fair Gardens Pub and a few other venues, have provided the space to hype the reggae genre. The Accra Reggae Weekend, a brainchild of Musica, will identify promising reggae and dancehall talents and offer them performance opportunities at selected venues in Accra. 3 musicians will tour 5 selected venues every month.
It starts from the last Wednesday through to the last Sunday of every month. 3 artists are selected to go through these 5 different locations. It is to establish a live reggae scene in Ghana.
The idea is to promote reggae musicians and ultimately establish a vibrant reggae influence in the capital.
The whole idea is to develop markets. You're introducing talent who have great potential, and then you're packaging them with established artists. That's how young talent, new talent gets exposed.
Musica intends to replicate the experience nationwide.
There's so much quality when it comes to Ghanaian reggae music, except that we've not provided a platform for them to showcase what they have. This is the time for us to see what Ghanaian music has in terms of reggae.
The live reggae experience will be rolled out from the last week in August. Some reggae musicians and promoters welcomed the initiative.
Reggae dancehall music has put us there because our first Grammys nomination was from a reggae act, which is Rocky Dawuni. We are expecting that this will make us much bigger and better, and then probably the market is going to see a lot of new faces.
The people have to accept it because it's the only genre that can enlighten and liberate the people from their slackness and from their slumber. This is the time for we to educate Ghanaians on social issues, economical issues.
It's a thing that everybody must support, and we're here to support it, and we hope that this goes on and on so people can learn from the basics of reggae and dancehall.
Following a story by TV3 on the health condition of former actor and comedian Super Odi, the Ghana Actors Guild has paid him a visit at his residence in Asiedu-Dartey. The delegation included President of the Guild, Sammy Fishin, Welfare Officer Kasium Sinari, and other stakeholders in the acting industry. With an undisclosed amount of money, the Guild assured the old actor of the Guild's continued support for him and his family. President of the Guild, Sam Fishin, said the Guild would do its best to reach out to other aging actors who are in need of support.
Well, that's good news, and TV3 gets results. We're happy. Look out for exactly in the next 30-45 seconds.
Yeah.
It's up for Tasha.
But I'm excited about the TV3 story on Super Odi. Well, and
he made all of us laugh, and this moment we have to get him to laugh.
There are more of them, and I am particularly excited by what the Actors Guild, is saying, that they will look out for other aging.
Absolutely.
So that's all we have for you by way of news this evening. Thanks so much for watching. My name is AC Benewanyame.
And my name is Alfred Okanse. Stay with us for Tasha.